Beth, can you
Yeah,
put
I'm
that on
going to turn
silent?
it off. I'm just trying to get the code to get it.
Okay, so we're ready. All right. Call to order this 1,177th regular meeting of the Board of Library Trustees. Today is Thursday, November 20th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Butler,
Here.
Trustee Uno,
Here.
Trustee Wittenberry,
Here.
Trustee Wong,
Here.
and Trustee Easton will not be here this evening, but with 4 present, we have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. Will you join me in saluting to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a motion to accept the, or adopt the agenda for this evening?
So moved.
I have a motion from Trustee Wittenberry to adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so the motion passes. So we have a number of announcements tonight. The board training session was held on November 12th at Malaga Cove Library. The annual Community Art Show reception was held on November 14th. Congratulations to all bookmark winners. A celebration was also held on November 14th, earlier in the afternoon. All PVLD branches will be closed on Thursday, November 27th, and Friday, November 28th, in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. All PVLD branches will be closing at 3 p.m. on Saturday, December 6th, to accommodate street closures and for staff to participate in the Rolling Hills Estates Annual Parade of Lights. The Board of Library Trustees will conduct officer elections at the December 18th board meeting. Trustees will receive an email describing each position and the duties and expectations. So my own announcement is I attended CLA, the California Library Association. There were a number of really great presentations. The theme was about telling our own stories. And so there were a number of a couple of libraries present who had been impacted by the wildfires on January 6th and ongoing. And it was interesting to see how emotional people still are about that. So a number of them, talked about their experiences, and there were still tearing up taking place. And even the libraries that didn't have fires, they were extremely impacted because they were closed. The librarians or the staff were all taken off and helped out with recovery or helping the community recover. And it was just really touching to see it. And Altadina's presentation was really good. And that presentation was done by the director and a trustee. So they had formed a new group to work on the recovery efforts. And it was just amazing. So again, I encourage people to attend CLA because you hear a lot about our local libraries, and I think it's really important that we support each other and have a good idea of what's going on at those libraries. Does anyone have anything that they would like to discuss or share?
Well, I'll just say that Jonathan and I were both at the bookmark celebration, and it was extremely cute. And the art was really amazing.
All right. Well, good. Thank you. All right, so that's the end of my remarks, and we will go on to communications and comments from the public concerning items not on the agenda. Do we have any cards, any online people?
No, Madam President.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, the consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approve it if no one wants to remove anything?
I move that we approve the consent calendar as presented.
Okay. We have a motion from Trustee Butler, or Vice President Butler, to approve the consent calendar as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it passes. Item 8, consideration of items removed from the consent calendar. There were none. Item 9, upcoming Board of Library Trustee conferences and events, from Director Addington.
Thank you very much, Madam President. So I have a few reminders of upcoming holiday activities going on here at the Hill. First, on Saturday, December 6th, the annual Peninsula Holiday Parade of Lights will be held. There is a VIP reception at El Pollo Inca restaurant from 4 to 5:30. I would like to again ask if the trustees know that they will be attending this to please RSVP to Executive Assistant Bender as soon as possible. Not so much because of the food, although that is definitely a consideration, but this is an event where elected officials are introduced and they craft their script ahead of time. So knowing if you're attending is highly recommended and desirable of the City of Rolling Hills Estates. So if you know or expect to go to that, please do let us know as soon as possible. That same night, we are doing a staff dinner here at the Peninsula Center Library in this very room, the community room. We are actively encouraging library staff and volunteers and friends and family of library staff to participate in the parade this year. So we do have some opportunities to ride on the float and whatnot. But in order to engage the staff, as was mentioned earlier, the library itself will be closing at 3. But to engage the staff and to get them to stay into a dark, potentially cold evening, but participate in a really wonderful, fun parade, we are going to be having a dinner, a hot dinner. We'll have activities for the kids and just an opportunity to kind of come together and socialize for staff and trustees, friends, and family before going down to the parade route and actually getting on our parade and starting that. The parade itself starts at 6 o'clock. It'll go till approximately 8. We're hoping for a mild evening, but if you're coming, be prepared for it to be cold. We also see a lot of our holiday events from the cities start to get planned. The first one to announce is on Monday, December 8th. The Rolling Hills 2025 Holiday Open House will be held from 4:30 to 7. Again, mostly for introductions and catering. If you think you could attend this event, please do let us know as soon as possible and we'll pass that information along. The other thing that is going on in December is the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation will be hosting an after-hours event. It's a little bit of a joint program between the library and the Friends. That'll be held on Friday, December 12th from 6 to 8 here at the Peninsula Center Library. For those trustees that are familiar with our after-hours events that we used to hold in the past, this is a purely social event. There is no specific program being touted or promoted. I'm sure the Friends will have the gift shop open for holiday shopping, but it is an after-hours social event to just celebrate the holidays and to promote the Friends and the library. As we get notification of additional events, we'll definitely pass those along. And I did want to take the opportunity, because I had a nice conversation with Trustee Wittenberry about the many tree lightings that are going on as well. Because the tree lightings are not typically invitation events, and they don't typically host introductions of elected officials, we often, Executive Assistant Bender and I, don't often list all those. But I would encourage you to kind of keep an eye out for the tree lightings that are happening in your own cities. And if you do want to go to them, obviously we encourage you to go and wear your badge and represent the library. But we can't really highlight every single event that's going on the community. So we try and pick the ones where we know that there'll be introductions. Along those same lines, the PV Chamber of Commerce does events all the time that I don't necessarily call out. So if you look on their website and you see a Good Morning PV, which is one of their breakfast networking opportunities, or you see a lunch that they're doing and you might be interested in going to, just let us know and we'll be more than happy to get you tickets to those events. I think we like to see the trustees out in the community, and if there's something that comes up that we haven't highlighted, we still strongly encourage the trustees to participate in those. So if anything like that comes up, just let us know. But those are that's the end of my formal events coming up.
I had a question about the PVLD, PLFF. So who is invited to that?
Everybody. It is
Okay, so staff as well?
It is a true community event.
Okay.
It will be promoted to anybody who wants to come and celebrate the season. And there may be a small, program where Executive Director Merlin David of the PLFF has an opportunity to just say thank you to everybody. It is my understanding that they plan on having, food and beverage and music, and it's, again, just a purely social after-hours event, open to the community.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Executive Assistant Bender has been trying to get our attention.
I neglected to remind Director Addington, and I didn't see, it's not on the agenda either, but I have RESVP'd for all 4 of you to attend the RPV open house on December 1st at Point Vicente. And they want you to bring an unwrapped toy. And if you need the flyer, let me know and I'll resend it, but it should have been on the agenda to remind you. That's it.
And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we have item number 10, which is the Peninsula Teen Advisory Council, PTAC, update from Young Adult Librarian, PTAC Supervisor Catalan, and PTAC member Chloe Johnson? Yes, okay, perfect. 11th grade student from Palos Verdes High School.
Hello, everyone. My name is Otto Catalan, and I am the young adult librarian who manages and supervises the Peninsula Teen Advisory Council, also known as PTAC, here at PVLD. I meet with the PTACers once a month to see what we can, what fun programs we can make for the patrons here at the Peninsula. We have met a total of 3 times this PTAC year. And we have come up with 2 potential programs, which we are going to talk about today. The one that I will share about is we are thinking about having a movie/clothing swap. It's still in the works, but what I can say is we will probably have a lot of snacks there. But I won't talk too much about the other one because I do have, as previously stated, I do have a PTACer here with me today. Her name is Chloe Johnson, and she can talk a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Chloe Johnson, and I'm a junior at Palos Verdes High School. I first heard about PTAC while researching on the library's website. I enjoy getting involved in activities that bring people together and create a stronger sense of community in our area. We were planning to have a trivia game where students answer questions from different subjects like history, science, and pop culture. There'll be multiple rounds, prizes for top teams, and lots of chances to have fun while learning. It's a great way to build teamwork, challenge our knowledge, and enjoy some friendly competition.
Sounds awesome.
And that's everything we have planned so far. We are open to any questions if you have. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions?
How many members of PTAC do you have right now, Otto?
Currently have 19.
19.
19, yeah.
That's
so-
a nice crowd.
Yeah, definitely. And they all have been, for the most part, showing up. I think I'm getting around 16 or 17 that show up on every month. So it's a lively crowd for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you meet once per month or?
Yes,
Yeah.
once per month. Yeah. The only time I don't meet with them, and I do give them the option, it's either November or December for if they want to spend time with the holidays. And this time we met already this month, but we will not be meeting next month. So we are going to meet again in the new year in January.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Does the teen annex, does that take some cues from PTAC, or does PTAC give any suggestions for the annex?
So we have before, actually. Right before the annex did open up, I did take any feedback from them. We're always taking feedback from teens in general, so not just PTAC in general, but if any of the teens that are up there have any suggestions for us, we do try our best to make it possible for them. But yeah, if any of the PTACers were to come up to me and told me, hey, why don't you have a Nintendo Switch 2 up there, I'm like, okay, yeah, fair. I would take that, yeah, I'd take that into consideration, definitely.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Chloe, when is the trivia night you're talking about?
Yeah, so right now, both of those, we are planning on having them in April. So the trivia night would be April 1st,
Oh.
April
That's a
Fool's
fun
Day.
day.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
So if you see any questions revolving around that, then you know why, right? And then, and then the second one, we are planning on having it April 29th.
Nice, great.
Okay.
And Chloe, how do you like being in PTAC so far? Has it been pretty fun?
I really enjoy it. It gives me a sense of leadership, which I really like.
That's good.
And also I've kind of met people through it,
Yeah.
just building friends throughout other schools, and just feeling more a part of the community is a really great feeling to have.
Nice. Well, we're very excited that you're a part of it.
I'm very excited as well.
Nice.
Very nice presentation, Chloe.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We
And
appreciate
thank
it.
you for coming in person. We love that.
Okay. Next is item number 11, Palos Verdes Library District and Peninsula Library Friends Foundation Joint Agreement. Director Addington.
Thank you very much, Madam President. So as many of the trustees know, with the exception of our newest, Trustee Wittenberry, I have been working with the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation over the past several months, even I would
Plus.
go so far as to say a year plus.
Yeah.
It's gone through multiple iterations of who's a part of it, where we're going, what we're doing, and the trustees know it's been a very ongoing process. But at this point in time, I have been spending a great deal of time with the PLFF president, Susan Paul, to develop this first ever joint agreement between the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation and the library itself. So there were, just to give a little bit of a background, there were some policies in our own policy handbook that relayed to Friends operations. And as the Friends of the library transitioned into a foundation and really set themselves apart as an agency that operates independently of our own policies, it actually made sense on both sides to take those out of library policies and allow the foundation to really be its own organization. But when we did that, we obviously realized we do need some agreements. We promised to do this, you promised to do that. So we've spent quite a deal of time going back and forth. We've reviewed this. The document has actually gone to both our general counsel and theirs. We had some questions. It went back and forth. And now both Susan and I do believe that we have a document that is ready for board approval. Now, this agreement represents the first formal document that we've had between the organizations in any way, shape, or form. And as I state in the memo in your packet, it does mark an important step towards establishing clear and collaborative parameters for our ongoing partnership. The focus of the agreement is an operational agreement. It outlines day-to-day interactions and responsibilities of both the foundation and library staff, ideally to ensure smooth coordination and mutual understanding. I also very much recognize that there may be revisions necessary in the future. Approving this agreement now will provide us, though, that strong starting foundation. We underscore the importance of this partnership, the shared commitment of both entities, and I am looking for board approval tonight of this document. It did go to the foundation board last week. It went to them on November 13th, and their board approved it. So it has approval through both councils, approval through the Friends Board, looking for approval tonight. I absolutely expect that as we get into it operationally and we see how it's working, there may be opportunities for improvement, opportunities for change. But both Susan and I felt, and I think the board feels the same, and I know their board felt the same, that it was important to get something. It is important to get a first document. And honestly, I think it's a pretty good one for the very first one. I'm happy to answer any questions about it, but again, we are looking for approval of the document this evening.
Well, I will say that I don't have any questions because it has been an ongoing process, and I think that you have done a tremendous job in bringing it forward, and I am ready to support it.
Thank you. It is true, we've seen the drafts. We've had conversations. Again, apologies to Trustee Wittenberry. I know you have not been a part of all these conversations until this point, but the board has seen multiple drafts of this. We've talked about it in the past. We've gotten clarity from council on a few things. So it's been a long road, but I think we're finally there.
So I think that over the course of the past, and I'm going to go ahead and call it a year.
Yeah.
So over the course of the past year, as we've been discussing this, it's almost been kind of like a little drip exercise. So since not everybody in TV land can go ahead and necessarily follow along, just as a recap into a ball of wax, just to recap, both our legal counsel and their legal counsel has taken a look at the document.
Yep.
And everybody's comfortable with it.
Yes.
The purpose of the foundation has been clarified and is basically an exclusive relationship.
Yes, I mean, that more likely stands in their bylaws.
Okay.
But we do lay out the general principles in this document, the funding mechanisms, the operational mechanisms of the day-to-day, like how do they get assistance from us? What kind of notice do we need in order to provide assistance to them? So yes, all of that is laid out in this.
Okay. And probably it doesn't need to be covered in this document, but are they going to come up with their own set of policies and procedures for their employees?
It's my understanding that they are working on that. They did just approve an annual report, which is now on their website. So if you've not had a chance to see that, you could certainly go check it out. And it is my understanding that the foundation is working on their own, like employee policies and procedures. But again, that would be purely under their
Their side.
auspices, not ours. So,
Okay.
but yes.
I did have two questions.
Sure, yeah.
And I did see that we referenced that they are going to operate under their own policies, so I will assume they're going to make their own
Correct,
policies.
yes.
So my questions, and they probably have been discussed.
That's
but I
quite, that's
just
quite all right.
wanted to find out. So I did see that in terms of insurance, we had the limits at 1 million, 2 million aggregate, and is it everyone's feeling that's sufficient?
It is, the insurance is a section that we kind of went back and forth with their counsel and our counsel. But ultimately, our general counsel felt that the wording here and the 1 and 2 million was appropriate and was enough. There's no getting around the fact that should something really untoward happen, I mean, obviously, we would go through SDRMA, which is our risk management authority. They would do whatever they felt was needed, but yes, for the purposes of this document and the purposes of our working with them as an organization, we found it was appropriate.
Okay. I'm glad that someone looked at that and decided.
Yeah, it was, there was a lot of
Sounded
conversation
a little low
around.
maybe to me, given
Yeah.
things, but if that's been looked at by experts, then I defer to that.
Mm-hmm.
The other question, and this is a little bit in the minutia, but the section about when we supply volunteers
Yeah.
to their entity,
Mm-hmm.
it looked to me as I read it that they still stay our volunteers, and I was wondering why it was written that way and why when we don't sort of give them a name as a volunteer, then they don't just become the volunteer of the other organization for that.
An excellent question and a very continuing and ongoing complex one. The Peninsula Library Friends Foundation does not have a volunteer program. They do not bring on volunteers. They do not onboard volunteers. They do not recruit volunteers. They do not cover them with workers' comp. We do. The volunteer program for both organizations is a library volunteer program. When you apply to be a volunteer here, you apply through our process. You are interviewed, onboarded by either our human resources manager, Sarah Uden Armstrong, or on occasion, our deputy director, Ryan Roy. We have your paperwork completed. You complete that with us. And PVLD covers volunteers under a blanket workers' comp coverage. So even if you come on and work in the book sales,
That was what I was thinking about.
or in the library shop,
Okay.
you are a library volunteer, and you are working in a department that supports the foundation. But we get library volunteers who work, we have 200 plus volunteers, and they work in technical services, in passports, in admin, in as docents, as technology assistants, and in the book sales, and in the library shop. And so we actually did have a very robust conversation about whether or not those volunteers should go under the Friends Foundation, and they were very adamant in saying, no, we do not have a volunteer program. They do not want the responsibility of recruiting volunteers, placing volunteers. When Susan Paul, who is not only the president of the foundation, but the manager of the library shop, when she needs a volunteer, they have empty shifts or a volunteer leaves, she reaches out to our human resources manager and asks for volunteers. So it's a strange kind of thing, but all volunteers are library volunteers. And then they get assigned to a Friends department. So
All right.
that's
Thank you
why
for
they
explaining
all,
that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
it is
that.
an ongoing
questions.
question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, as I said, her efforts are really appreciated because this has been ongoing.
And
And
we-
and it's still going.
And it is. We actually still have a few questions that we're getting some legal clarity on that are just, that doesn't necessarily, isn't reflective in here and doesn't need to be, but just sort of implementation of volunteers and like, there are some ongoing questions about that. And yeah, I mean, if at any point in the future, the foundation chose to have their own volunteer program, then that would how that we would do that. But they really do not want that. They really want that to be run by the library. And, we get volunteers for PTAC. PTAC are teen volunteers. And we know who we have, and we can actually find positions for those volunteers in a more effective manner because we're, again, the human resources is 40 hours a week, plus probably. We all work here every single day. It's what we know. And we're actually exploring bringing back the volunteer coordinator position. And that person really does have the pulse of the volunteers here, so.
Well, I understand it, and I think the reason I was raising it was more from who's supervising the volunteers. And I'm sure you understand that.
100%.
I admire you for starting from nothing and coming up
Yeah.
with this document. It's really hard to think through everything when you
it
sit
was a
down
lot.
and make this kind of agreement.
Yeah, I think Deputy Director Roy and I probably spent 6 to 8 months working with a group that then completely shifted and went in a different direction. So it's been a process. So,
Many
but I do
stages.
think we have
Stages of development.
stages of development. But I think we have a good plan now.
Yeah, and I think that is the main point.
Right.
That we have something to start with when we had nothing
Right.
prior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
kudos.
can go from here.
Very pleased to have this first iteration of these. It's great.
Okay, so what I need is someone to make a motion to approve and I'm trying to find the language. Jennifer, can you give the language?
I think a recommended action that's listed is the Board of Library Trustees approves the joint agreement between the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation and the Palos Verdes Library District.
So I'll move we approve the agreement as stated.
Okay, so I have a motion from Trustee Wittenberry to approve the policy as stated, or to approve the agreement as stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. So the motion passes.
Wonderful, thank you very much. And we will get the appropriate signatures ready and have them in your box.
Okay, perfect. All right. Next is revisions to policy number 8050.2 PLFF liaison role. Director Addington.
Thank you. Well, so staying on the Friends for a minute. Over the past 2 years, the Friends of the Library have transitioned into being the Friends Foundation. And they have very much modified the structure of their meetings, including the participation, including the format, the participation level by library staff and the Board of Trustees. In the past, PVLD always had one trustee that was a liaison to the Friends Board. But in the past, there was a great deal more collaboration, a lot more working together in ways that, as I even mentioned, both organizations have kind of realized don't really fit in the same way that it was before. And what we are seeing now, and have seen for about the last year, is that the trustees and library staff go to the foundation meetings, and we're there maybe 7 to 10 minutes at the most. They have changed the format so that we are able to hear the executive director report, certain committee reports, but then the foundation board very much has what they deem their business, and that don't really include the Friends, don't really include the trustees or library staff. And there is a point in the agenda where we are excused so that they can do the business of the foundation. And in looking at that, it really seems rather a waste, to be honest, of elected official time to come to a meeting for 7 to 8 minutes and then leave. What we have found in the last year is that it's highly, highly possible for both myself or Deputy Director Roy to attend these meetings and bring back anything of substance that's going on. So given kind of this change in format, we believe very strongly that staff can be that liaison. Staff can go to the meetings, take notes, give a little report of what's going on with the library, support the PLFF in the work that they're doing, and then bring back all the information that is needed without the elected official having to take that time out of their day. I brought this idea to the foundation president, and we had a very robust conversation about it, and she was very much in agreement that having staff there was lovely. They want us there. They also very much appreciated that having a trustee, an elected official there, was probably not needed, that anything that would come up, that library staff could bring that back. So as we look forward into this next year, as we start creating committees and liaison reports, I would like to suggest, and again, in consultation with the foundation themselves, that the Friends of the Library liaison actually be library staff. And we will bring back to the board every month in the, Peninsula Library Friends Foundation liaison report. It'll either be myself or Deputy Director Roy who reports on what's happening and what the Friends are doing, how that's working, and assume that role ourselves. So I have provided a red line that would change that Peninsula Library Friends Foundation liaison policy, which was 80-50, from the Board of Library Trustees providing a trustee to the district director and their designated representatives shall serve as the liaison to the foundation. We will attend all regularly scheduled foundation meetings. We will report to the trustees all matters of significance, and we will also keep them, you all, informed of any developments relevant to the Palos Verdes Library District. And then I also talked to their president about them coming to us and having that a standard annual report when they do their annual report. So I was meeting with their president today. Unfortunately, that got rescheduled to Monday. But when I meet with them on Monday, I will be asking, can they now do their annual report to us? And going forward, the president or their representative from the foundation will give us an annual report. But it seemed to fit more around their own annual report rather than just, generic updates, which is what we were getting before.
So I do have a question, and I hadn't thought of this before, but, our attendance, so I've been the liaison or one of two liaisons for the last 2 years, and then a sole liaison this year. And what I did find helpful was our attendance at their annual meeting.
Yes.
And so I wonder about,
Well, and the one thing about the annual meeting is it is open to everybody. So it is an event that Executive Assistant Bender and I can put on our agenda as just a notification that the foundation is having its annual event in June. Everyone is welcome to go to that. We highly suggest the trustees go to hear about what's going on. Staff always attend that event. But yes, I agree, that could be something that's an automatic part of our, noticed meetings that we would encourage all trustees to go to.
Yeah. Just for for a little bit of history for our newest trustee. When I first was on the Board of Trustees, I think there was a good 3-4 years, maybe 5 consecutive years in which I was the liaison friends. And I would kind of describe that relationship almost kind of like being the House representative for the District of Columbia. I get to go to Congress, I get to participate and observe, but I don't get to vote. So it's almost kind of like, I get to see, I get to hear, I get to go ahead and communicate, but at the end of the day, it's their organization, I don't get to vote. And it sounds like, and I'm not pushing back, but it sounds like they don't even want us to participate in that manner anymore.
I don't know that they see that it's as useful as maybe it was in the past when there were like fundraising committees that were joint committees, naming committees that were joint committees, gala committees that were joint committees. They're really taking those
Opportunities.
opportunities on themselves. And truly embracing being a freestanding foundation group. And their own board is a operational board, they want their board to be engaged in those things, so. I think we need to give them some space and allow that to happen and kind of see where it all goes. So, to go back to the agenda, my suggestion this evening, and you'll see it in the memo, is that we adopt the changes to policy 8050.2, Peninsula Library Friends Foundation Liaison, making library staff the liaison and giving us the responsibility and the obligation to come back and report that to you all.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, so can I have a motion to adopt to approve the revisions to policy 8050.2 Peninsula Library Friends Foundation Liaison?
I so move.
Okay, so I have a motion from Trustee Wong or Secretary Wong to approve the revisions as listed. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so the motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, and now we are on to item 13, revisions to policy number 8030.3, vacancies, Director Addington. And I will say that when I first mentioned it, I went back and I read it again, and it changed what I was thinking. So, but you have an excellent revision, so go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam President. And yes, this is a very small revision, but as President Uno said, as we were going through all the policies relating to trustee vacancies, we just realized that 8030.3, initially it reads a little confusing. So we just wanted to clarify that 8030.3 is about vacancies in the officer role. So not just that a trustee vacates their office, but if a vice president, if a secretary, if the president should vacate their role, what do you do? So it is simply a very quick, clarifying addition of 3 words, which is from just a straight up vacancies to vacancy of officer role. So to just clarify that that's what it means. And you see a red line in your agenda, just making it a little more clear.
All right. So are there any questions about or comments about this one? Okay, perfect. So can I have a motion to accept the library trustees approves the revisions to policy 8030 vacancy?
I so move.
Okay, so I have a motion from Vice President Butler to approve the revisions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the revisions are accepted and a motion approved. All right. So now, item 14, District Director's Monthly Report from Director Addington.
Thank you, and I feel like I should have given some of these to Deputy Director Roy. It's a lot of me this evening.
I might be
but,
able to do President Uno's update on the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation meeting.
I think you can, yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Madam President. So you have my October report in your packet, but I would like to highlight a couple of things and add a little bit as well. First and foremost, to your second official meeting, a welcome to new trustee Beth Wittenberry. Very happy to have you with us, so thank you very much. Moving on, I wanted to say that the Community Art Show was a wonderful success. We had probably about 200 attendees come. It was very crowded in a wonderful way. The foundation was able to provide us a bar that evening, so there were refreshments, there were snacks. One of our own employees, circulation manager Ketsi Diaz, her daughter is quite an up-and-coming young cellist and was entertained in the audience, in the foyer, as the whole event got kicked off. And then we had another fabulous performance from a quintet in the main library itself. So we heard nothing but good all evening. Definitely want to shout out to all the staff that helped make that possible, especially Assistant Adult Services Manager Evan Coates and Adult Services Librarian Crystal Costa. They spearheaded the whole thing and really did a fabulous job. So we missed everybody. We would love to have seen you, and hopefully next year we will. But it was a wonderful event, and we had a great time. Got a lot of kudos for that, so I think that's lovely. So also wanted to say, as was mentioned earlier, we had our winning celebration for our annual circulation bookmark contest, and very happy to see Vice President Butler and Trustee Wittenberry there. So thank you very much for coming. All the bookmarks are available now in all the libraries, so we're very happy to have that done. The second floor redesign, cubicle, installation of new carpeting is complete. We had a little open house just for staff because the way the cubicles are now, they're far more private for the staff so that they really have their own little separate areas, and not everybody had had an opportunity to kind of walk around and see where everyone was. So the next time you are here, please feel free to come into the second floor. We've put up little name tags so you can actually see where the staff are, and we've put up a map so you can see where all the staff are sitting. But I feel like everybody's been very, very happy with that. We're going to live in the spaces and then see if or how we may need to adjust anything. But the next project on that floor is trying to maybe redo the staff kitchen a little bit. It's a very old cabinetry and old dishwasher, and so kind of putting that on the agenda for potential projects in the future, so very excited about that. I highlighted a little bit about the Friends Foundation, but I also did want the trustees to be aware that we were notified last week that the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation received a $20,000 restricted gift specifically for our local history center. So we're very, very happy from John and Layla Williams. Their executive director, Merlin David, shared us with that and included that the Williamses could be in favor of giving a donation next year as well. So I just want to very publicly thank them for their incredibly generous gift. I also sent them a letter of thanks, and of course they will be thanked by the foundation. But Adult Services Librarian Monique Sugimoto, our main archivist, is thrilled and has straight up said to us, with this donation, I'm hoping to get the next batch of microfilm digitized. With the instability now, or honestly even the unavailability of the California Digital Newspaper Collection, we are working to port the papers to our community archives. So this will boost our Recollect storage costs. We can use that donation there. We're earmarking materials to be digitized, and this very generous donation helps us digitize our materials so that it's saved forever. So we do receive these restricted gifts from the foundation periodically, and I just wanted to make the trustees aware of that one because it's a lovely one, and we're very happy to receive it.
Just a quick aside. What is the the instability of the California collection?
It's the California digital newspaper collection. I'm not exactly sure what makes it so unstable. I think it's honestly just the funding and the accessibility of those digital collections. It makes it, we want to make sure that we have everything that we can digitize and have on site. But I could definitely look into that and give you a little more information on it.
Okay.
Happy to do that.
I got a sinking suspicion it's just the medium itself, because you said we have some things that are microfiche.
Yeah, we have that too.
I mean, because if you think about it, microfiche, there's a lot of abrasion and a lot of tension. And also, so therefore, it gets a lot of tugging and pulling and abrasion.
But I wasn't clear if that was our collection or if
Yeah.
that was some other collection that
it's-
is unstable.
It's not ours.
Yeah.
It's the California digital
Oh, okay.
newspaper collections that I think it's an access and funding
Mm-hmm.
issue.
Okay, but we have our own microfiche.
We do,
Okay,
yeah.
so,
But not as
It's no, yeah,
expensive.
yeah, not as expansive.
May I just ask?
Yeah.
Director Addison, so when we digitize them, are they searchable?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just that they're digitized.
Correct.
We can actually type in
Yeah,
keywords.
they're
and
actually
search.
added to our collections, especially the Recollect collection. It's an online community archive that's all searchable. So that,
Right?
yeah, that's
That's wonderful.
the wonderful thing about it, yeah. I just wanted to call out as well that we did have our annual Staff Development Day on October 17th. It is the one day where we pull all the staff that is able to come for learning and collaboration and collection. We had a really good day, and I think a lot of people got a lot out of it. We talked about Link Plus and our own history of the Hill and our new strategic plan, so it was great. I also mentioned that several PVLD staff attended the California Library Association conference, including myself, Evan, Amy, Crystal, Mary. Mary Kochman is our technical services manager. She got the Technical Services Award of Merit this year, so we're very happy about that. And I had a wonderful opportunity to attend the Public Library Directors Forum directly before CLA. So the Public Library Directors Forum, it was always in person before CLA, and then during COVID, it went virtual, and then there was some uncertainty about it. And I'm very happy to say that it came back hosted by Pacific Library Partners. Used to be the California State Library, but they've had some funding issues and didn't really, they weren't able to host. But the group that put it together did a fabulous job. We were actually at the Louis Robideau Library, which is a branch of the Riverside County system. And probably about 100 Southern California, Northern California library directors came together. We talked about AI and the library director. We talked about dialoguing with city managers. And that included librarians who have moved into like assistant city manager roles and looking at even city manager roles coming from the library world. And then we talked about advocacy, and very happy to see Kyle Packham from CSDA, our not library advocate, but our connection person at CSDA there, so very happy to do that. And then I also was able to attend the annual conference, and it's always great fun. I completely concur with President Uno that if you do have the opportunity to go to CLA, it's a good one. There's everything from networking with the library directors and our own staff, dinners with peers and trustees and new friends. I went to the exhibit hall, did a wonderful pre-conference on advocacy with Deborah Doyle, who came for our training session from United for Libraries. I attended a book panel with our trustee, Rosa Kwan Easton. I attended the opening speaker, Julia Whelan, which is a multi-talented voice actress, audiobook narrator, and now publisher. That was really, really interesting. I had a really wonderful conversation with her later as well, so kind of connected with her in the exhibit hall. And then went to several sessions that were really good, both on advancing librarians into leadership roles in cities, sessions on journal mapping, which is creating like a visual representation of your strategic plan, and then just leadership and AI and things like that. So really great conference, highly recommend. Next year it will be in Riverside again, so if you're interested, as we get into October of next year, that should be a wonderful conference to go to. And then I'll end my report, obviously happy to answer any questions that may come up from it. But as always, the Staff Pay It Forward Award, this is an award that travels from staff member to staff member. So it's really an opportunity for our staff to recognize somebody who's made an impact on them. And our last month's recipient, Katrina Woodson, passed it on to Eve James, who is our branch manager, and had some really lovely things to say about Eve, and I concur with all of it. So congratulations to Eve, and then I ended on a lovely photo of our staff at Staff Day. So I hope you had an opportunity to check it out. I'm happy to answer any questions about that, but that is my report.
All right, thank you. Okay, so it seems there are no questions. So we are now going to go on to ad hoc committee report regarding alternate district director compensation, Vice President Butler and/or Secretary Wong.
So a few months ago, President Uno invited Secretary Wong and me to form this ad hoc committee to determine whether or not there would be a recommendation to establish alternative compensation for the district director. And so over the past few months, we did a little bit of digging and consultation in-house, as well as some external research. And two of the criteria were that alternative compensation would be both meaningful to the director, as well as something that would be sustainable in the long term for the district. And we unfortunately found no options that really met those criteria. And so, to make a long story short, we're not recommending that we pursue any alternative compensation options at this time for the district. So maybe Secretary Wong had some specific.
Well, let me just jump in really quick on the, to avoid CalPERS premiums is neither advisable nor feasible. So that was not the core of the request. As you mentioned, to find compensation that would be meaningful for the director. So when I came to the library, the compensation for the director was kind of all over the place. So there were some years where I think maybe she had a small amount, and then another year it like zoomed up. And so, we went to her current compensation, putting her on the scale with, excuse me for calling it the wrong thing, but with everyone else. And I was surprised that it kind of jumped up high as well. And so we wanted to entertain the idea of offering, compensation that's not always cash, but, is meaningful for her. And so I wanted to, put that in as a correction, because it's not to avoid CalPERS premiums. It's to, identify alternate compensation packages.
Which
And now you
didn't
can
find any alternatives, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's just really nothing feasible. I mean, the bottom line is that one of the quips that I would make is, are you working too hard to save too little money? And I think that what we're looking at is all you're really doing is laying landmines down for the future. You're saving too little money to create more bigger problems. So just go with the very, very straightforward, go with the steps.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, I see this as a receive and file. It may come up again. And other people may have other ideas in the future. So,
Madam
So
President, what was the genesis of looking into this in the first place?
So it was exactly what I just stated.
Did it come from the trustees, or did it?
It
come
came from the trustees.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So for receive and file, I don't need to ask anything. I just, okay, so we will receive the report and file it.
And sunset the committee. And the committee's
Yes,
dissolved.
thank you for reminding me that. And so I am also sunsetting this committee, so this committee is dissolved at this point. All right.
Well, it lasted.
All right, so the next item is item 16, and Community Relations Committee report from Vice President Butler.
Well, I've not had an opportunity to speak to any city councils or anything like that in the past 4 weeks, but I will highlight yesterday afternoon at the Miralest Library, there was a K-pop fan fest, and I was surprised how many people were there. It was a better turnout than I was expecting, and it was just a really beautiful coming together of people from the community, and I thought, this is community relations, because it was the Korean snacks. They did such an amazing job with the artwork from different, K-pop singers, both fictional and real. It was a lot of fun. People, they were at the crafts table, people of all ages, really. It was really cool.
They're not fictional, they're all real.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking about the size of Miralest, and so I'm thinking about how many people were there.
I mean, because they're there are already a good number of middle school students that are there at that hour. I don't know.
Probably-
It could have been 75 at least in that,
At least.
right?
At least.
I
So it
don't
was
know.
right after school?
It was, I got there a little after 3, so yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was probably
exactly how many.
pushing, kids are small too, probably pushing 90, I bet.
Yeah, could have been.
I mean, that's not uncommon after school for Miralest, though. For a short period of time, to have 90 students is not uncommon at all.
Yeah.
And then people start
Yeah.
to get picked up, so.
The hour that they're let out, yeah, we could have anywhere from, especially when you split between outside on the deck and inside, there could be between 50 and 100 students every single day.
Right.
But a lot of them get picked up very quickly and over time, but we do plan our program around that timing so that they might say, hey, look what's here, let's stay for a while, and then you'll see parents who may have picked their kids up, come and stay for a little while and enjoy the program.
But it definitely attracted some non-middle school kids,
That's
younger
right.
and older. It was really, it was really good.
Oh, okay.
Very well done.
Well, great. Thank you. Peninsula Friends Foundation, Library Friends Foundation.
Yeah, I can do that this
Yes,
time.
yes, thank you.
Especially since Director Addington had a conflicting meeting and I was able to attend the meeting. And just to paint a picture of what the meeting looks like now, because it has morphed and evolved as the Friends of the Library have become the Peninsula Library Friends Foundation, and the way that the library participates in the meeting obviously has evolved as well. So the meeting starts out with an adoption of their agenda, a call to order, adopt their agenda, make changes if they need to, approve their minutes. But then typically at that point, the director would give the director's monthly report. So the same report that Director Addington gives at this meeting, she would give at that meeting. Or if she's not there, then she might have some notes for me. And this time I had some notes from our facilities manager, Daniel Gutierrez, on an update on the project that we're working on together to revise our Deep Valley entryway. So he gave me some notes to provide, and I provided those, and they were happy to hear those updates. And then after that, the executive director, Merlin David, will give his presentation, and he talks about events that are upcoming, things they are planning. They have their Malaga Cove book sale coming up this weekend. Their gift shop's going to do a pop-up. They talk about things like that. And then they have short reports about their book sales and their gift shop sales. And at that time, they excuse the library staff and they'll go about their business. So it was a very normal meeting. I gave our facilities manager Gutierrez notes and listened to their presentation, and there was nothing typically out of the ordinary. They appreciated hearing an update on the project. So.
Can you share that update with us then?
Yes, I actually have that email from Daniel. So there were revised plans for the work that's going to be done on the entryway, and this is the doors leading into the library from the Deep Valley side. The revised plans were approved by the Planning Commission and by the Building and Safety last week, so everything's approved and ready to go. They were submitted as a revision rather than an addendum due to some submission requirements that they have. So I guess there's a whole ad hoc committee that's a joint committee between the Friends of the Library, the foundation, and the library staff, and they've been working through this process all along. So Building and Safety is currently recalculating the permit fees based on the revisions. They anticipate that they'll be able to pull the permit for that this week, actually. Because that was last week, and he said next week, so I think that's coming up. But that's assuming that the fee recalculation is completed on schedule. So it should be soon. As soon as they recalculate those fees, they'll have the permits. MZN, which is the construction company that we're contracting with to do the work, is updating their contract and pricing based on the new revised and approved plans. They have a target delivery date for the updated pricing on December 1st. But they are working hand in hand with the architect if there are any increases in costs from the previous plan. And there has been time that has elapsed, and Daniel noted that lumber is up about 30% since then, and that steel is up about 15% since then. But he also noted that the use of lumber in this plan is fairly minimal. But MZN, the contractor, is working with Cozen Architecture, the architect, to adjust plans as needed to keep the costs fairly stable. So we don't expect to see any dramatic increases from the contractor in the cost. And that was the update, and they were happy to hear it. So we're moving along, and the plan is to break ground on that in January. So
Okay, good.
coming along.
So, Director Addington, I will say that was another aspect of being the liaison that I think we could use more updates on the plan on that. On the
Entryway?
yeah,
Absolutely.
because I was the liaison, and so I felt like I knew
Yep.
was more in the loop.
No problem at all. I can make that a part of my ongoing report.
Okay, great.
Just as a quick update to that, we did get the updated permit fee amount. We did a check request. The check was cut and dropped off at the city, and we are all fully paid up with our permit fees.
Okay,
So,
cool.
moving forward.
All right, great.
That happened today.
Okay, thank you.
Can't build without one.
All right, and government relations liaison report, Trustee Easton is not here, but I will, just make a statement about the Brown Act. There are changes coming that have to take place starting in January. And so fortunately, CSDA is doing a presentation to help with all of that work. So I'm registered to attend, and I know that our staff is all registered to attend to make sure that we're kept up to date.
So it's not a taped webinar.
It will be, I'm sure it will be taped, but you probably have to register for it in order to have access to it later.
And it is free because we are.
It is free, yeah, so as members. The webinar itself takes place on December 10th. It is fairly lengthy. I think it's like from 9 to noon.
So you have to love it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of updates to the Brown Act, so
Yeah.
we're kind of keeping an eye on that.
Yes, so I did sign up for it because I can't watch it in person because I teach at the same time, but the idea is to get the link. And I don't think you can get the link unless you register, so
Yeah.
I can watch it later.
Yeah, and usually, ultimately, they'll make it part of a packet later,
Yeah.
so. All right. So items for future agendas.
So looking at December, we have our election of officers, which again, we will send out an email that just lays out what the officer roles are. They are president, vice president, and secretary. And then we'll give a little update on what the committees are. And since there's no Friends liaison anymore, there's really just the community relations and government relations. So we'll send a little email out just reminding people about that. We will probably have a policy update in our eligibility. Are we going to have that ready for
Yeah, we're
December?
hoping, we're working through kind of some holdovers from COVID about how we do digital library cards, and we're having a lot of conversations with our management team on that. We're hoping to have a very minor policy update on that in December, but you know, if it takes us a little while to figure out how logistically we're going to make it happen, it could be January.
Okay.
But at this point in time, that's all formally.
So, you know, when I was looking over the items list, I did not see when the bill team, you know, gives us an update. And I almost feel like the last time they gave us an update was almost a year ago. And so I think we're due for an update from them, because they came and they were asking for money to do something, and so, I mean, I would like to know what they did.
I can reach out to them and see.
Okay. And then I get emails from other libraries that, you know, that I go to. And I got one from a library, and they were talking about their hoopla and how they're going from 8 to 5. And I'm wondering if we're having that same issue.
It is funny that you mentioned that, because that's exactly why we're talking about our digital card.
Okay.
Because the digital card, as we morphed it, I guess, during COVID to make it accessible for people who couldn't get into the building, does allow for people to have access without ever entering the building, which is not strictly how our policy is structured. And the board had given the library a lot of leeway during COVID to adjust policies. And, you know, the idea was to revert back to it in the end. So that's something that we're really thinking through the process of how do we revert that back. We are seeing increases in Hoopla and things like Canopy, other databases that we pay per use. We will have to come up with a plan for that. But how we handle the digital card has a lot of potential to help cut those costs that are rising, especially, you know, there's several options to it. Obviously, the way we did it before COVID was if you sign up for a library card online, your digital access is not active until you come into the library and do your proof of identification with a photo ID and a address verification. So we could go back to that way. We could look at possibly, you know, limiting certain high-cost databases to our service area zip codes. That's another potential. So we want to just look at, you know, what are the least limiting ways first. We want to keep, you know, services available to as many people as possible for as long as possible, but we also want to look at how are people taking advantage of our having a digital card where they might have access to these databases through their own local library if, say, they're, you know, living in Northern California or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff for us to look through and think about how we might do it better. But we're hoping to get that done fairly quickly, and as we were saying, if it's not on the December agenda, it'll probably be in January. So.
Okay, great.
And that discussion will absolutely include updates on Hoopla.
Okay.
Because LA County just cut theirs from 8 to 5.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
email I got.
Yeah, we all got that too. And actually, I think I want to say, I don't want to make a mistake here, but I want to say it's San Francisco dropped Hoopla altogether. It's you pay per usage, so it can be a very expensive service to provide. It's lovely, but it's expensive.
Right.
And so that's, part of the conversation.
Okay, perfect. Thank
A
you.
quick question. The parade is on December 6th.
Yes.
Are they going to give us a car this year as they have in previous years?
We are actually going to be utilizing one of our staff members, Victor Cedillo, is bringing his classic 1972 Mercedes. We're going to put that, and then we'll have the truck and trailer like last year.
And
But I've claimed the car.
Yeah.
no,
Uno's already in the car.
no, but I just wanted to make sure because I think you have an allergy thing with the straw.
Well, we're not going to have straw this year.
Oh, we're not going to have straw this year.
We had several allergy issues, so there's no straw this year. We found another way of doing it.
It was only $5 a bale.
We did rent the bales, but we found another way. We found another way. So, yes, we welcome you all to be
Okay,
a part of the
okay,
parade.
all right.
Cool.
It'll be fun.
And I walked one year, and that was fun.
Yes,
remember that.
we've walked. We've walked.
That helps keep you warm.
I did have a question, and I hope it's not out of order. It's just a clarifying question on the financial report. Is it all right to ask that now? So I was wondering, I looked at the charts, and I was wondering why the reserves, are lower this year, it looks like, than in past years, and also why they appear to always be lower this part of the year. Can somebody answer that question?
If our finance director is still online, I would direct this to him. If not, then we can absolutely investigate that and get you a proper, in fact, it might be better, given this isn't an agendized item
Yeah.
at this point in time, we can get you an answer to that, Trustee Wittenberry, no problem at all.
And because I think I have a response, but I don't want to be wrong.
Right,
So,
yeah. And
Well,
again,
I can
it's not.
guess, but I don't want to guess.
Yeah.
I would like the
Right.
answer.
Yeah.
I also want to be a little careful about getting outside of agendized items at this moment in time. But why are the reserves lower right now, and why are they lower than they seemed like they were last year? We'll investigate that and get you an answer.
Why they are consistently lower this time.
Perfect.
The seasonality of it.
It's a timing issue, but yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make sure we craft you a proper.
yeah,
a
that we get
proper
the
answer.
right response.
Yes, we get you a correct response.
I appreciate that.
No
Thank
problem
you.
at all.
Yeah. All right. So at this time, I am calling the meeting to an end. If someone will give me a motion
I move
to adjourn.
that we adjourn.
All right. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.